Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. Today I want to give you a little planner and journal lineup update and kind of talk about what I've been using lately, because as you've probably noticed, I haven't really been uploading videos, but I've still been planning and journaling, of course. So yeah, I just want to give you a little update what my current system looks like, and then I also want to talk about my plans for 2026, and we're going to take a look at the new hobonichi lineup, and I kind of want to share like what I'm kind of thinking about getting maybe. So yeah, that's kind of the plan for today's video. Maybe let's just start with what I'm using for planning, which, okay, so if you've watched my planner and journal lineup video, to be honest, I can't even remember anymore what books I showed there, to be honest. Like, I don't know what I started the year with, but I'm pretty sure I started the year, like for planning, I started the year in the hobonichi weeks. I don't know what it is, but for some reason I always end up picking the hobonichi weeks again and then just stop using it at some point. Like, I'm not using this anymore. I moved to a bullet journal recently, and maybe let's talk about the weeks like first. I feel like I started this in December, like I set it up in November and then already started in December, and that worked pretty well. Like, I used it for a couple of months and I really enjoyed it. Like, I especially love my weekly, my monthly overviews in here. But I'm not really planning on paper that much anymore. Like, most of my appointments I just put in my phone, and then I'm not really writing that many to-do lists anymore, at least not at the moment. Like, I'm very burnt out again, and I kind of, like, I'm back in autistic burnout, and I kind of felt like I had too much space in here. And like, don't get me wrong, I love the hobonichi weeks, and I could definitely see myself picking this up again at some point, like maybe when I'm having more things to do again. But at the moment, like, I only had a couple of weeks that looked like this. Most of the weeks were just empty, and then again at some point I just stopped using it. So yeah, I kind of didn't really use a physical planner for a couple of months. Like, I stopped using this in like towards the end of March, I think. And then I just stopped using a like physical notebook for planning. But then I felt like I kind of needed something to jot like things down and kind of like keep important information. So I decided to set up a bullet journal, which, if you know my bullet journals, you probably know that they're pretty similar to the weeks. But since I'm using like the leuchtturm A6 pocket, there's not as much space. So I always kind of felt like this was a lot more manageable. And I always ended up falling off bullet journaling because I like didn't enjoy setting up the following months. But I actually found a way to make this a lot more enjoyable for me. And now I'm actually using this bullet journal, and I'm like, at the moment I'm enjoying it so much that I could definitely see myself like starting 2026 in a bullet journal too. So maybe let's just flip through this again. This is the leuchtturm A6 pocket, just in like the black. And I kind of decorated the first page a little bit. This is a sterling ink sticker. And then I just have my future log. And as you can probably already see, I used stickers for most of the things. What I always kind of didn't really like about bullet journaling was setting up like the spreads. Like, not really the setting up like the process of setting up, but I always hated how they came out because I'm a perfectionist and I don't like my writing, especially numbers. So yeah, that wasn't really, obviously isn't really ideal if you're trying to set up a bullet journal and have to write out all of the calendars and stuff. What I kind of ended up doing is just getting stickers. And what I did was just getting those like sterling ink stickers that are actually meant for their undated planners, but they actually work great in a bullet journal, especially in this like size, which we will see like when we are flipping through. But this ended up working so well, and I just absolutely love like how this looks. Like as you can see, I just used the stickers from the sticker kit for all of the headers and like dates, and it just works so well, and I just love how this looks. And this is just making this whole setup process so much easier, because I don't have to like get out stamps or like have to try writing neatly. So I can basically just do my spread in like pencil and then put in all of the stickers, and it's just, I love it a lot. So yeah, I set up this bullet journal, and as you can see, I basically just have, again, my future log, then my like monthly cover page with a mood board and my monthly to-do list. Then I have my monthly overview, and then we just go into the weeklies, which I just use for like to-dos. Like again, I'm not really writing that many to-do lists anymore, but sometimes I just have things I want to get done on like a specific day, and then I just put it in here. I also sometimes do like weekly to-do lists. I put in appointments, events, like just things you put in a planner. And I really enjoy this, and I really like I love how it looks, and it's just very like functional for me. And again, it's not as much space and not as overwhelming as the Hobonichi weeks. So yeah, I'm not really doing dailies that much anymore, but I can do them. Like for example, on this day I had kind of a longer to-do list or a couple more things I wanted to get done, so I did a like daily list. But overall, I'm not really like, I don't really need that. Most of the time I can just put the things in my weekly layouts, and some weeks are kind of empty, but I feel like that's fine. Like I don't really care. For some reason, empty weeks bothered me a lot more in the Hobonichi weeks. Like I don't really know why, but yeah. So this is my bullet journal. This is my current planner system. Again, I'm also using my phone for like appointments, but for like physical writing things down, I use this bullet journal, and I really like it. Like, yeah, I'm very excited about this, and I still have quite a bit of like space. I'm not sure, like I will definitely use this for the next couple of months, and then we'll see what I end up doing in 2026. But I can definitely see myself using a bullet journal again for planning next year. Maybe I come up with something different, but I definitely won't be getting another Hobonichi weeks, because I just don't really feel like that's the best fit for me at the moment. Again, that could change, but for now I'm really happy in this bullet journal, and that's basically what I use for planning. So yeah. Moving on to journaling. For journaling, I'm pretty much only using those two books. This is my 5-year journal. This is the Hobonichi 𝚎𝚟𝚎𝚘. And I feel like I finally found a journaling system that actually works for me. Like, I always kind of got overwhelmed with journaling, but since starting this 5-year journal, for some reason the journaling has gotten so easy. Like what I do is I usually just fill out like this 5-year journal, and not even like every day. Sometimes I go back in like 1 or 2 weeks after things happened and just like backlog them, which, since I don't really have that much like space to fill in here, is really easy. Like I usually just take my phone and take a look at my pictures and stuff and see what we did, and then I just like backlog them. And then pretty much the same goes for my cousin. I like what I've been doing lately is just going in at the end of the month and doing all of the like memory keeping for the month in like a couple of days. And it's just been so much fun because I'm not really like, I don't really feel like stressed. Like I don't really feel stressed anymore, because previously I always kept forgetting things because I didn't really like journal, and then I couldn't go back and do my journaling. But since I have this, I can kind of just go back and read back my entries, and then I kind of have like this archive of stuff, and then I can go more into detail in my cousin. So yeah, the 5-year journal isn't really interesting because I'm not really doing that much like pretty things in here. Like this is mainly just writing. Like as you've probably seen, I do sometimes like decorate a little bit and do little collages. I can't find the page anymore, but yeah, sometimes I put in stuff and do a little collage or put down a sticker, but mostly I'm just writing down the things that happened, and I love it. I didn't really have the greatest luck with my paper in here, to be honest. It's kind of like, yeah, this was definitely a bad batch of the new Tomorrow River paper, but to be honest, I don't really care that much. It's kind of sad, obviously, because I think for 2026 they fixed their paper, but I don't want to get like another 5-year journal. I want to fill this up, but since I will have to use this for 5 years, it's kind of like, but like it's fine. I'm using my fountain pen in here. It works. Sometimes I just get a little bit of like bleed through. Like for like ghosting, I'm not really that much concerned. Like I don't really care about ghosting. Like I don't care if I can see what I wrote on the next page. But like obviously feathering and bleed through is really something we love to see. So yeah, but overall it's fine. Like I just, compared to all of the other books I have, this is probably the one with like the worst paper. But yeah, it's fine. So yeah, this is my 5-year journal. Love it. And I was kind of like, when I got this, I was kind of concerned I wouldn't be able to like keep up with this, but for some reason keeping up with this is very easy. And then again, this is my hobonichi cousin avec. And to be honest, okay, I love this, but I won't get a cousin for next year probably, which is a decision that's kind of hard for me because I love like the journal pages I do in here, but I feel like I'm just not using this to its full potential, and I'm kind of wasting a lot of pages, which you will see when we are flipping through. So previously I've been using this as an index. Haven't been doing that. Maybe I'll come back later and just put in the stuff I did or I've been journaling about, but currently I'm not using this. I'm also not using the monthly pages. I like at the beginning of the year I thought I would use this to like print out a picture a day or something, but to be honest, I just don't feel like doing that. Like, I feel like that's kind of, for me personally, it's kind of pointless. I love looking at other people's like pages. Like, I saw a couple of people do that and I just love how it looks, but I don't feel like I need it, so I haven't been doing that. And then I'm also not using my weekly pages, which is kind of the main problem I have, because this is just always so much wasted paper, and I also don't want to force myself to fill in those pages, because again, I don't really want to stress myself. I'm burned out enough. I don't need more burnout. Like, I don't need more things I need to worry about. So yeah, I'm just not using the weekly pages, and you can only get the cousin with the weekly pages. So this is kind of like my biggest struggle with this book, is that it just feels like I'm wasting a lot. So yeah, spoiler alert, I'm thinking about going for the A6 original next year, but we're going to talk about that a little bit more later. Maybe let's just flip through my like daily journaling pages. I started using those monthly cover pages to kind of just dump ephemera I didn't really have space for on my journal pages, which I feel like is a pretty good idea, because I always end up collecting a lot of ephemera pieces and like receipts and stuff, and then obviously I can't put them all in like one journal page. So sometimes I just have leftovers, and I feel like using this cover page for like all of the leftover ephemera makes sense. So yeah, and then as you can see, I'm not journaling every day. Like, I'm only doing like journal stuff, or I'm only journaling, like, again, I'm backlogging those journal pages anyways, but I'm only doing like spreads for days I actually had stuff happening. So I do have a couple of empty pages each month, which I'm not really worried about too much, to be honest. Like, this is a problem. Empty pages, like empty daily pages, aren't really for me personally. So if that would be like the only problem I have with this book, I would get the cousin again. Like, I think it's fine to just have a couple of like empty pages each month, but like the weeklies are actually something I'm kind of like, I don't really like. So yeah, but this is kind of what my journal pages look like. I basically just print out pictures and then write a couple of sentences. Sometimes I just put down receipts. And I'm also like, I realized I need a dated book, because since I'm doing all of my journaling like towards the end of the month and not really the day off, I kind of need this structure. And I'm also like doing my journaling all over the place. Like, for example, if I feel like journaling about this day, before journaling about this day, I would kind of do that. And if I would go for a book that's not dated, I would definitely struggle and I wouldn't journal anymore. Like, that's why I want a dated book. Like, for those of you who probably thought like, why aren't you going for like the day free, for example? I just need the structure of like dated pages. So yeah, that's why I want like a cousin or the original. But as you can see, sometimes I just like, for example, this is all one day. So I basically just cover up like the date of like the previous day or like the next day, for example, and just use the pages. I didn't really feel like I had something to say, like, if that makes sense. So yeah, again, this is also all like the same day. And to be honest, I absolutely love how like my journaling pages look in the cousin. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to consider the A6. But again, I just feel like I'm wasting too much pages in here to actually justify like getting the cousin again. Again, if the cousin like didn't have the weekly pages, I would probably reconsider, but since the weekly pages obviously are there and I don't really have a use for them, I don't think it's right to go for the cousin again. At the same time, I'm kind of worried the A6 isn't really like enough space, but for example, a journal spread like this, I could just like spread out over like 4 pages, for example, and it would be fine. Like, yeah, we'll see. I think I will try it out actually, because I don't really want to waste like too much. So yeah, that's actually it for like July. I haven't been doing my August journaling, but this just works really well. Like I really like this. And yeah, it's kind of hard to say goodbye to the cousin, to be honest, but I think it's time to like try something new. And maybe at some point I'll get the cousin again and use the weekly pages again, because like I've been using them at some point, but like currently it's just it probably would be way too overwhelming to like force myself to use them again. So I feel like the A6 makes more sense. I also kind of thought about getting the take a note like A5 planner, because if I'm not mistaken, you only get like monthly pages and then the like weekly, like weeks on 2 pages, which feel like for like the way I'm journaling would make sense, because I could just like cover up the dates of the days I'm not really journaling about and use this similar to this book. But I don't think I'm ready to say goodbye to hobonichi. So that's why I think I will try the A6 before I actually like go for the take a note. But I'm not sure yet. Like I always feel like August or September is way too early to decide on what you want to do for like next year, because there are still a couple of months left and like you never know what happens, right? So yeah, we'll see. But that's basically what I'm thinking at the moment. Like I'm very happy in my current system and I would definitely enjoy using this like the last months of the year. And then I'm very excited to try something new and also like stay consistent with the stuff I plan on using again. Like obviously this will stay with me for a couple of years. So yeah, this is kind of my current system. I'm not really using my Filofax mini anymore. Like I'm still using it as a wallet, but I don't really use the planner pages anymore. And then I'm not really sure what else I kind of talked about in my initial lineup video. So yeah, that's my current planner and journal lineup. And now let's talk about, I mean, I already talked about some of my plans for 2026, but now let's talk about the new hobonichi lineup and the things I'm considering getting for next year. Okay, so I'm not sure if I should talk about like the full lineup or just about my wish list, but maybe let's take a quick look at like the full lineup. To be honest, I wasn't really that excited this year. Like there wasn't really something I was like, I definitely have to get this. Like I was kind of excited about the Moomin collab. This cover is really pretty and it's so cute and I love it, but for some reason I can't really see myself getting it, which I'm kind of surprised about, because I was always sad about the fact that like the Moomin collabs weren't like globally available usually. Like for example, the Weeks books you could usually just get like from resellers for like hundreds and hundreds of like euros. So I don't know. I was just very excited about this collab, but I can't see myself getting the cover. I'm not a fan of the Tamagotchi series, and I'm also not a fan of the Yumiki Tagishi like covers. I really get why people love those, and I love the like Yumiki Tagishi art style, but for me personally, those covers just are way too like colorful, and I know I would get sick of it at some point. Like, I don't know. And when I want to, like, when I get hobonichi covers, I always want to make sure I'm getting something I can enjoy for a very long time. So I usually like to go with things that are kind of a bit more, like, I won't say a bit more neutral, because the cover I decided I'll probably go with isn't neutral at all. But like, I just want something I can see myself enjoying for a long time, which I'm not sure if those are something like that. So yeah, this is nice, but to be honest, when I saw all of the other pretty like artworks this artist did, I was kind of sad they went with this one, because I absolutely love the artwork they went with for the Hobonichi weeks. And if they did like an A6 or A5 cover, I probably would have gone for this. But this, I don't know, I'm not the, like, this is pretty, don't get me wrong, it's pretty, but I feel like there are pretty options. So yeah, I don't know, this very cute, but not my thing. I was kind of like looking at this, and this is very nice, but I'm not sure if it's actually like me in particular. So I don't know, but I really like this. I also really like the Liberty fabrics this year, especially because they went for this really nice like light pink color on the inside. Like, I just really enjoy this one. Yeah, again, I'm not sure if I would enjoy it for a long time, because it's a lot of pattern. And then I also really like this one. I just wish they like didn't go for such an like, I just don't really like the base fabric. Like, I love the like illustrations, but in like with the base fabric, it's just a bit too much for me. So yeah, I'm really excited about the new Tragen colors. Like, I'm so excited they didn't just drop this like series, like the Tragen lineup, and they're still like doing new colors. I think the mustard yellow is so pretty. The purple, like, no, isn't really for me, but it's still a very nice color. So I was kind of excited to see those. And then I feel like this year's leather cover is also very pretty. Wouldn't get this because it's just way too expensive, and I'm also not the biggest fan of like buying leather products, but very pretty color. And then I think we're already like, yeah, those are some of the releases from like 2025. So yeah, this is selling quite a few like 2025 covers. So okay, now let's talk about some of the cousin options. Like, I really like this one. I feel like this looks a lot more yellow like in the pictures than it does like in the videos. Like, I feel like in that video it was kind of not that yellow. Like, I kind of like the video, I kind of like the video option, or like the video version. I feel like with Hobonichi, it's always kind of, it can be a hit or miss when it comes to colors. Like, I always like to watch a lot of videos before I purchase anything, because yeah, sometimes the things just don't really look at like their picture at all, which I totally get, because it can be really hard to actually capture like colors, and then every like monitor or display kind of displays stuff differently. So I get it, but sometimes it can be a bit frustrating. So yeah, those are kind of the A5 colors. Again, I feel like the Tamagotchi cover is actually really cute. I wish I was kind of like, I didn't really grow up with Tamagotchi, so this isn't something, like I'm not a, like, I don't know, it's just not something I'm particularly interested in, even though I kind of thought about getting a Tamagotchi kind of recently because I kind of like it, but it's not really my childhood or anything, so I'm not really drawn to this cover, but like, it's very cute. Again, also very colorful, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who love this. So actually, now that I'm looking at this, oh no, you don't want to overthink stuff, okay? So, yeah, I don't really think I have a lot else to talk about, so maybe let's just move on to my wish list, because I don't really want to like make this video or let this video be like too long. So yeah, let's talk about my favorites, or like the things I'm kind of thinking about getting. I won't be getting everything on this list, but I kind of just like put some of the things on here to kind of talk about. Again, I will probably go with an A6 for next year, and I will be going with the avec. To be honest, it's kind of tempting to finally have everything in one book, but I feel like, especially with the A6, this would get so chunky. So I feel like the avec is the better like option. Also, if I end up like not liking this, or if I realize I don't really have enough space in there, I can just sell like the second half and like go for something else. So yeah, I think the avec it is for me. And then I kind of have like, I've chosen something that's not really, that's like kind of out of my comfort zone. let's just phrase it like that. For some reason, since this cover was released with like the 2025 spring release, I kind of fell in love with this. And I don't know why, because this is very red. And like, I'm usually more of like a neutral and blue and just not red colors person. So I don't know why I like it that much, but since I saw this for the first time, I was like, I want to like buy this. And I actually thought about getting this when like the spring release came out, and then I didn't, because again, it's very much out of my comfort zone. But since I'm not really like there isn't really another cover I'm like excited about, so I feel like I might as well just get this one. So this is probably my color, or like cover choice, like not color choice, cover choice for next year. And this could be a hit or miss. Like, I could end up hating it, I'm aware of that, but I feel like since I'm looking at this for like almost half a year now, and I still really like it and still feel like I want to get it, I think this is actually, or might be, the right choice. Okay, moving on. I'm also kind of considering getting like one of the colors covers, just if I actually end up not liking the red. Again, usually I only want to buy stuff where I'm like at least 99% sure I will love it. But since this cover just isn't getting out of my head, I will just do it. And yeah, but since I'm not sure if I actually love this, or if I'll end up like hating the bright color, or like the bright red, like I don't really have a problem with like bright colors, like in general. Like, for example, this also has like bright colors, but this is like more in my comfort zone of like blue and turquoise and like just stuff like that. So I hope you know what I mean. So since I'm not sure I'll actually like love this. I'm kind of considering also getting one of the colors covers. For some reason, this really did catch my eye, which again is a very bright color, but I feel like it's more in my comfort zone. And for some reason, this cover is kind of reminding me of like Smith's keys, like those things. And that's, I don't know, I just really like this. So I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about like maybe getting this because I don't really have that much A6 covers. And like I do have this in the A6, but since I've been using this for like this year or like the whole of 2025, I don't think I want to use it again in 2026. Like I just want to look at something different. I also have like this polar bear cover in the A6, but this is very dirty. I have a couple, like I don't know where this like came from. Like I'm kind of tempted to just like try to clean this, but I'm not sure if I would be like successful with that. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably just like attempt to clean this one first, because I know I will move out of the Tragen at some point, not just because of the color, but because I always like, I'm always like, I will miss like the usual like butterfly stopper, or like, what's this called? Like the usual like cover at some point. If I don't succeed cleaning this one, then I will maybe go for like one of those. Maybe I will just pick up this one because it's pretty, but I don't really want to buy stuff I don't actually, I'm not really sure I will end up using. So we'll see. But those are actually like on my list just to kind of think through. And then, okay, let's talk about this cover. Initially, I thought this was black and white. And in case you didn't already notice, this isn't black and white. This is silver. Like they're actually saying like in the silver faux leather printed with like the artwork. And to be honest, I was actually already settled on this. And this was kind of my sign to use an A5 again. And then I realized it's silver, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. Now that I've seen a couple more videos, I kind of feel like the silver is very subtle and not as like, it's kind of more of a matte silver, which I really enjoy. So now I'm kind of like struggling a bit because I already settled on getting an A6, but I also kind of like this cover. So I'm not sure if I should just get it and use it like at some other point, or if I just pass on it. But yeah, I kind of have to like make a decision on this. Currently, I tend to just not getting it because I don't want to get something I don't know when I'll be able to use it. But I really like this cover, and I'm kind of, yeah, I don't know. For my pencil board, I will probably just go with the Yumiki Tagishi ones because I'm not really the biggest fan of any of the ones they released this year. What I'm also kind of considering is another one of the hobonichi staples. I already have one. I really love the one I have, but it's not really that spacious, and I feel like I could definitely use a second one. So I'm kind of thinking about just getting this black one, which is very simple, and I could just leave this on my desk, which I don't really do with like the other one. So yeah, this is something I have on my list. And then I just have a couple accessories, the Tsukino add-on sticky notes, because I feel like this makes a lot of sense in the A6. Then I'm kind of considering the like sticky notes in the cousin and original colors. And then last but not least, since I'm a big Moomin fan but won't be getting the Moomin cover, I will probably get this like blotting paper, which is definitely something I need, because at the moment I'm just using like random scraps of paper to blot like excess ink, which definitely works, but it's kind of ugly. So I feel like I could definitely make use of some like pretty blotting paper, and it's obviously movement themed, so I just really like the design. So yeah, that's basically my wish list. Okay, so that's it for this video. I think, to be honest, I'm kind of feeling a bit weird now, because I'm not really used to like filming anymore and like talking in front of a camera. And since English isn't my first language, I always feel like I'm getting very rusty if I haven't been filming videos and like obviously haven't been talking English. So I hope this video wasn't all over the place, and I of course hope you've enjoyed watching. Please let me know in the comments maybe what your current system looks like, and also what you're thinking to do in 2026. Maybe even let me know like your favorites of this year's hobonichi lineup. I would definitely love to know. I know August is, or like August, September is like way too early to think about all of this. So if you haven't really made up your mind, that's fine too. Like, please don't feel pressure to like get anything from like the hobonichi release on September 1st just because everyone else is. Like, I feel like we have more than enough time to figure out what we want to do like next year. So like, don't pressure yourself, but if you've already made up your mind, feel free to let me know. So yeah, that's it. Take care. I hope to see you in the next video, and